I think you got my text too that I will be out next week. I don't know if you're even going to do one because it's Labor Day or not, but I know
probably
sometimes we
will
do. But
because the next Sunday we won't have one because
that's why I was wondering: are we probably going to skip it because we just did a 6-hour show?
6 hours on Saturday, so we won't do that Sunday.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll probably do one because I'm going to be Thursday night. I'll be at Mizzou. Friday night we'll be at Jackson because that's where our football game is.
Oh, your football game, yeah.
3 hours away.
Dang. Oh, because like Mallory's got to go to like the away games now, right?
Yep.
So they're probably busing though, right? Like,
yeah, they're leaving school early. Like, but Mallory's or Pam's coming. She's taking a half day, so we're gonna drive down.
Oh, cool. Are you gonna like stay the night? Well, they bus back though, don't they? Yeah.
She'll probably ride home with us after the game, but
Will they let you?
But yeah. But yeah, I think most of the kids will ride home with their parents.
Okay.
But yeah, it's man.
That was weird for us on Friday because our stadium was like under construction, and it ended up our school was out of power, so they wouldn't even been able to have the game anyway, which is like so ironic.
Well, because I was telling Pam, I was like, I don't think Scott's school's playing because I told tornadoes and stuff, and then she's like, well, there's a picture of him at the game. I was like, well, that's news to me. I was like, I think
I don't think because there were like phone calls all over the place with students, like the athletic directors, superintendents, like trying to figure it out because like games, there was some games that were Thursday that just were like they played like a quarter and a half and had to call it due to lightning and all that. So they had to like pick up, but then some of those stadiums lost power. So then they had to switch like facility. Like it was a mess.
I seriously didn't know if we were going to finish our game because so many guys, it was so hot. I mean, because the heat index when we started was like 103, like temperature like 96, I think at game time at 8. And so many guys were going down with cramps. I mean, I kept telling you that like in the third quarter, you would have like a guy from their team on one side, like your trainer, on our side. Like, I mean, we run out of people. Like there was people and they were screaming. It was like they might have to call this because like people are. And then the funniest thing was like that night because I was like, man, you're gonna hear howls like from houses around us in our neighborhood, like a Charlie horses. I got a Charlie horse that night, late in bed, like at 4 a.m. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it was
so like we're like the Wolves now. Like we changed our like mascot, just because.
That's that's what my old.
But like the new thing now is like people like are making like howling noises in the stands. Like every time we have a big play, which was actually a lot more than we would last year. It was like, oh.
So we have a high school around here. They're called the Timberland Wolves, and we played a playoff game there. And like it was supposed to be neutral site, even though because in the playoffs it's supposed to be neutral site, even if like you host. Right. And so we hosted, and like our announcer was the announcer, but he's not allowed to do any of our like first down.
Yeah.
And we all go, how we couldn't. He couldn't get the crowd going. We played at their dang school, and like they went all in, dude. They're like every time they got a first down, they have this pre-recorded. Ho, ho, ho! Our fans are going crazy.
Oh man,
fair. Yeah, we still whooped them, but yeah,
that's funny.
Oh my god, we were losing in the third quarter. It was like a church, as quiet as a church in our stadium for a few minutes.
That's funny.
We squeaked it out. I was like, oh,
I was just loud, man. We scored 2 touchdowns. That
rowdy.
Emily doubled the amount of touchdowns that she's had in her career.
It's not gonna. It's gonna be a rough game because we're playing some good schools. Like so, I thought I scheduled the Give Kids the World thing, honestly, because we're playing this school called Lutheran North that we just destroyed last year, a private school.
But it's your first responders night.
I didn't know it's first responder night, and this school, they won their game 56-0 Friday night. And they played against a big time. It's my alma mater, which is one of the bigger schools in St. Louis. I was like, oh, I thought so it's going to be in the school we play this. It's one of the best.
Are you flying back now?
I left again. That went up $300.
Oh, dang.
After the game. Because like this one's going to be rough, but
yeah,
we'll see. Anyway. All right.
I got to get you a Lions shirt for when we watch the Lions game.
I told Pam about that. I'm going to watch the Lions Chiefs.
Yeah. I was like telling Elizabeth, like, I think I might buy Mike a Lions shirt.
So isn't Jared Goff the quarterback?
Yeah.
The old Rams guy? Yeah. Okay. Well, here, let's do this. And I don't know. I don't have any news. I can't think of any news off the top of my
I
head.
don't know if there's any news.
The treasure's getting announced on the 30th. I know that. All right, people, put news in. They help us out here. Help put some news in the chat so we can talk. All right, here we go. What do we just did questions on Friday, but I have something.
I know we have no topic because we did questions.
What are we talking about Friday? Nothing. Oh my gosh, we're in a desert here.
I need to still book my Disneyland package with you.
You do. I need to book my Walt Disney. I booked Disneyland, but I got to book. We could talk about that. I got to book my Walt Disney World. I haven't even moved on that yet.
Yeah, I might do Good Neighbor. I don't know, but like, I mean, you only live once, right? I mean, I love the Grand Californian so much. Like,
I booked Disneyland because I figured that's going to fill up, right? And if I want to go the other way, I can.
You could.
I won't be able to go, this way. I could always go down.
And the expo will be at the Disneyland Hotel. That's how historically where they always were. So like, that's easy for like the running part because it's right in your hotel.
We could talk about the pros and cons of that. That'd be something to talk about. Okay, here we go. All right, let's do this. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP Open Line for Sunday night, August 27th, 2023. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BRGuestPodcast.com. And of course, one of the busy senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Hope you had a great weekend here as we close out the last weekend of August. I cannot believe it. And getting ready to move into the Labor Day weekend next weekend here in the United States of America. So bonus day of the weekend next weekend. So we're going to earn it. You know what that means? We're going to probably have to earn it this week, but strap in. And, for folks like us, football's back. It's a happy time. It's a great time. And the weather, is super hot here in the Midwest over the past week, but we made it. Today it's in the upper 70s. Hallelujah. And where it is always beautiful like this, I think, up in God's country, Michigan, up in the mitten. You're a friend of mine joining us today. It's hashtag Scotty G. Scotty, 36 holes of golf today. Holy cow, what's up?
Hey, Mike, was not planned. And to what you were just saying, it was a glorious day here in mid-Michigan. Oh, my God, blue skies. The first round of golf today started at like 58 degrees. It was like, so you had like the light jacket on. Like, it was so comfortable. And then I took it off and then like was great. But let me tell you, we had a crazy tornado come through our town on Thursday night, and lots of people still don't have power. It's crazy. So a lot of like big local businesses have been out with power. Schools were canceled. It was crazy. And the tee time we made earlier in the week, because we normally make the tee times like on Monday or Tuesday, was for this course called in Weberville, Michigan, which was out of power for multiple days. So we're like, oh, dang, are we going to be able to play there or not? So we switched the tee time, and then we found out that they were still going to operate on Sunday, even though there were no power. So we were like, that's the move, right? We got to support this business that just got like, just this whole community just got like creamed by a tornado, basically. So we stuck with our plan and we played there, taking care of all their staff and everything. They were great out there today, but the weather was so nice, Mike, that afterwards we're like, I think we should do 18 more. So we took a lunch break, with the Old Nation Brewery, which is awesome, like local place in that same town, try to help them out, try to recover. And then, then we made another tee time. We played 36 holes, and I just got home, and I am whooped, but I'm ready to talk Disney with you.
That's a lot of golf.
It's a lot of golf, but yeah, I figured like, I'm going to be gone next weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, and I'm not going to be playing the next Sunday. So we're just making up for some lost golf holes is really what it is.
I like how you think. That's, you can't get behind.
But I tell you, like, I'm getting a little older, man. Like, I used to be able to do 36. I didn't do it often, but like pretty easily, but like, come hole like the back 9 of that second round, man, we were all like starting to feel a little bit like because we've been outside, we're getting like windburn and stuff like that. You get exhausted. So
yeah, because I took a nap this afternoon, and when I woke up from my nap, I took a peek on Find My Friends, and you were still out on the course, and I said, "Oh man, you was on the course this morning."
It's fun. Like, but I'm stricken that margin between me and my brother, though. He beat me by 1 on the first round and only beat me by like 4 on the second round. And based on our handicaps, he should beat me by like 11 or 12 every time. So I'm bridging that gap, Mike.
You got him, dude. You're closing that. It's like a running race, right? You're just
it's a marathon. Yeah, I'm still plenty of race left, for me to catch up.
That's exactly what you're doing. All right, so we're going to talk Disney. We got some news here we could talk about. Of course, over the past week, a lot of folks have planned their 2024 Disneyland vacations, and thanks to everybody for the support. over at the Magic for Less. I've gotten to book a lot of folks, especially for the Disney. What is there even a name for that race weekend out there? Is it just the Disneyland?
I think it's just called the Disneyland Half Marathon weekend. So it used to be over the weekend that's actually coming up next week. Labor Day weekend is when the Disneyland Half was. But since they're doing only one race, I think they're just calling it the Disneyland Half this year, even though it's in January, because that was traditionally their Star Wars like light side race, I believe. But and then the challenge is called the Dumbo there, so a lot of people call it the Dumbo race weekend as well. But it's technically the Disneyland Half race weekend.
So let's kind of talk about that for a second. And also, we talk about the Disney Cruise Line Treasure is going to be announced. There's a big video event on August 30th. I believe that's Wednesday, where they're going to give kind of a preview of the ship. We could get your thoughts on what you hope to see on the Disney Treasure. A lot of speculation. A lot of people, I think, are thinking that there may be a tiki bar like a Trader Sam's, maybe a haunted mansion type theme or area on the ship. What would you like to see with that? Again, the phone numbers are 314 or not. Dude, I almost gave up my home phone.
Whoa, I'm about to say 314. I know that area code.
Back in the day, I used to use my home phone number. Oh my God, that was like 10 years. That was like a 10-year flashback right there, man. It's been a day. How about 407? That's the area code we all know and love. Oh, we could also talk about the hurricane. It's not going to hit Walt Disney.
I remember though, the prefix is your area code backwards too. When you think about it, the 407 413, it's kind of like 314 backwards.
You know,
so I know that's why you're thinking that.
You're right. The only reason it's 413 is because that was the only like thing I could get that had the vanity WDW. Because the back four WDW.
You need that 9395.
I paid extra for that like 10 years ago. Anyway, so it is 407 413 9395. Please don't prank me. You could look up you could still find the old shows. And I don't have that phone number anymore. It was my old landline. That's how old it was. Anyway. Where was I? Yeah, so
we're talking about Disneyland. You're booking some Disneyland resorts.
Yeah, we could talk about what you want on the Disney Treasure, but we had this conversation back and forth a lot this week because you still haven't booked. I booked right away because I got paranoid, and I'm probably going to pay too much. I get it. You know, it's crazy, right? I ended up booking in the villas at Disneyland Hotel.
Oh, I'm very interested about those
because it was the cheapest room out of all of them. Like it was cheaper to book in the villas than it was. I mean, not by much. It was, but I was just the lowest cost I saw to be at the Disneyland Hotel. Paradise Pier was completely booked. So I grabbed a room there, grabbed some tickets. And again, like I didn't really focus because you're like, well, what'd you get? Did you get the Genie Plus? You get the Park Hopper? I just threw some tickets in my cart because again, on that morning, I wasn't sweating the details yet because that race is in January. The deposit's $200, whether you have a 3-day hopper or a 5-day, ticket that's a base. It doesn't matter at that point. It was a $200 deposit. I'm going to refine.
But it will matter at some point.
It will matter at some point. You're exactly right. But I mean, that's something I could refine down the line. But I am going to, and we talked about it, I am going to have a 5-day ticket and I am going to have Park Hopper and GD Plus. Both of those options make sense at Disneyland. They just make you feel like a VIP. You can go wherever you want. You get to, you're skipping lines. You're rocking and rolling. I get to go to Disneyland that often. So I'm going to pay that little bit extra.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go all that way to the West Coast and not, get the full experience. So I'm doing that. That's why I'm staying at the Disneyland Hotel. I do want to check out the new villas. It was the lowest cost of any of the rooms. So I'm excited for that. But we had this discussion because you're thinking about maybe doing on-site, maybe doing Good Neighbor. And what I said was my justification for booking Disneyland Hotel, and I'm going solo, which is kind of killing me because I wish, I could take Mallory, but she's got cheer, and Paige is in Chicago, Pam's teaching. So whatever. But, I booked it that day because that's going to be the most scarce option to get for that weekend. Those rooms are going fast. I can always look at the Good Neighbor hotels because there's lots and lots of options and inventory for that. So if I want to go the other way, it's a lot easier, right? To go from Disneyland Hotel, I want to save some money. I'll switch out to a Good Neighbor, go to the Fairfield or something like that. If I want to go the other way, if I book the Fairfield now and then, I kind of want to splurge and go to the Disneyland Hotel, that option could be gone in a couple weeks or in a month. So you got to kind of think about scarcity. That's just what I've kind of learned in my travel agent mind. So we've been having this conversation back and forth ourselves, like since they opened up a couple of days.
It's so tough, right? I keep going back and forth because like how my Disneyland trips have worked out. I go every other. So our first one was at Disneyland Hotel. Next one was at Fairfield. Next one was at Grand California. Next one was at Fairfield. Then I was at Disneyland Hotel with you all last year. So the pattern says for me to stay off site, but man, there's something, and I know you haven't stayed there yet, but the Grand Californian, I've said this many times on the podcast, is my favorite Disney resort, period. Like, I love Old Key West, and, you know, I love all the Walt Disney World ones, but I love Disneyland Hotel too. But there's something about the Grand Californian that I just absolutely love. The pool area is spectacular. Your access to the parks is unbelievable from that resort. And you saw the price. You gave me the quote. It is high. I could go to.
I mean, it's way expensive. It's terrible. Yeah,
I could go to the Fairfield for. I mean, granted, like I'm booking a package for like 3 people, right? But 3 theme park tickets or whatever. But I think it was like $2,000 less almost, which is nuts.
Almost like, I mean, the only difference between what I'm paying and what you're paying for an entire family is 2 tickets.
Yeah.
And it's not that big
because your room cost is going to stay the same if it's you or 3 people.
Right. Yeah. I know. That's why it's like, God, I want to take Mallory or Paige or something. I mean, I might even see Paige is in season.
Yeah. And I thought about like doing another hotel too, because like the Westin intrigues me, because I think that's going to be close to the race start based on like previous like Run Disney races that have been in Anaheim. Who knows? I could totally switch where the start is going to be. But then it's like a 20-minute walk to the resort, where like the Fairfield that I love is like a 7-minute walk or something, or 11-minute walk. It's super close. So I'm on the fence. I love your strategy though, Mike. I think I'm going to stick with it. I think I'm going to message you tomorrow or later tonight, whenever you're backlogged and working, that I might want to just lock in that Grand Californian for now, and then I can worry about it later, because that's the right call, right? You put the deposit down, and then that's tomorrow's problem, figuring out from there.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I'll probably stick with it and just hope that, you know, just again, we talked about this, right? It's the end of August, so basically it's beginning of September. The race is in January. The final payment, because it's packaged with tickets, will be due, you know, mid-December. Terrible time of the year. It's Christmas. But if you put, you know, a little bit, pay some of it in, you know, you got to have discipline, right? But
that's my plan.
At the end of September, pay a little bit in October, and then your final, if you can cut your final payment in half by the final payment,
and like
not so bad.
And this always isn't the best idea, but a lot of us, right, are we have the Disney Chase card or whatever, and there's a good benefit to that, right? If you book a package, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, I don't think I am, like you can get 6 months no interest on that. That kind of helps too, right? Around the holidays, you know, like you put that
everybody to Disney math class tonight.
Yeah. So my thought. So here's my thought. Say the Grand Californian is. I'm just gonna put a number out there with tickets and everything. It's $5,000. Maybe I put $2,500 down right now and start chopping it up at that 0% no interest. Final payment comes. I put the other 20. I mean, I really split that up. I mean, either way, you're spending the same amount of money, right? But that could kind of help you, especially around the holidays and such too. So that's just some thought. Not saying like everyone should go out and get a credit card. Credit cards are not necessarily meant for everybody. Like I'm not trying to give financial advice by any means, but sometimes if you're responsible enough, that could be a good option though.
Thank you for saying that on our show. So we don't exactly we're putting out the discussion.
I mean, I work for a financial company. I mean, I'm pretty good with it, but I'm not encouraging it.
I know nothing about finances. That's why I'm glad, because you do work for a financial company up in Michigan. That makes me feel better, because I know nothing other than I'd never carry a balance on a credit card. That's all I've learned from my parents. Like my parents would, when I was a kid, I think I've talked about this on Mike in the Midwest. We couldn't rent movies I'm older than you, but like I remember when like VCRs came out in our town, like, you know, and like our town it wasn't a Blockbuster. It was like a mom and pop shop, like to rent VHS tapes. And we couldn't get them because the only way you could get rentals was you had to put a credit card down. And like my parents were against credit cards at first, because they were, you know,
you would love to meet my brother.
They're very conservative with their money.
You would love to meet my brother, because he's like cash only. My man doesn't even own a credit card or a debit card even. He's so funny. So like whenever we play golf, like I always would go anywhere. Like I always pay for everything on my credit card. Then he gives me cash.
That was it. Funny. You know, like all my friends were like, you know, getting all these movies, and eventually we, you know, you could, you know, they had them like at the grocery store and stuff like that. But it was so funny. Like, why can't we get movies? Because we don't have a credit card. Right. Okay, we have our first call. So yeah, but do give us a call and let us know, like, what are you thinking, you know, as far as when it comes to maybe if you're going to the races out west, or, you know, whatever we're going to talk about. All right, first call tonight. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, Mike, K. Scotty, it's Adam from New Hampshire. How's it going?
Hey, Adam. It's going great. Thanks for calling in. What's up?
Oh, not too much. We're a week and a day removed from Walt Disney World, and things could be better. Unfortunately, we brought a not so nice souvenir home for part of the family, that being COVID.
Happens.
It does. Yes, Fortunately, 3 of the 4 of us are down with COVID, myself included. So my voice is a little raspy tonight. That's why.
Oh man, hope you guys recover quickly. Did you guys have a good time though while you were there?
We did. Yeah, we had a great time. Yeah, we had a nice trip. We had a lot of, some good luck, some not so great luck, but overall it was a great trip.
So give us some highlights. What'd you guys like?
Well, we went back to Pop Century for our hotel. It was our first time back there since 2019. We love Pop. So it's probably our favorite hotel, especially for the family. The girls loved it. And actually, we were thinking of you, Mike and Scott, and actually even Alfred a little bit, because we were in the 60s building and we were right behind the Mickey phone, the big Mickey phone iPhone. So
love it.
We brought home the Mickey phone Pop Century Christmas ornament for our tree this year. That was one of our last purchases we made in the Everything Pop gift shop that came
I
home.
love that ornament. We have that too, Adam. I love putting that on the tree every year.
Yeah, we're gonna hang that up. It'll be a nice prominent spot next to the Disney 100 ornament we bought. So.
Oh, nice. I've gotten out of the habit of getting ornaments. I need to do that again. We used to always get them when we only went once a year. We would always make sure, like we always went to, back then we went to downtown Disney. That's how old we are, right? And went to the Christmas store, and that like it'd be a big deal. Like okay, which ornament are we going to get? I think that's one of those things that could be a discussion we have tonight too, is you get to go maybe 2 or 3 times a year and you're really lucky. Like sometimes the traditions that are so special kind of fall to the wayside, which is kind of sad because those ornaments are my favorite every year on the Christmas tree.
I love the resort ornaments too. I want to get back to Adam's trip, but I love the resort ornaments. And usually the first time I stay at a resort is when I get like the Grand Floridian one, like we did this year, Mike. Like I love, it's something to remember that trip about, or the podcast cruise. So but then if you stay at Pop Century like 5 or 6 times, and you're like, well, I can't get the same ornament over and over again. So then what do you do? Yeah, it's tough.
So give us a couple other highlights though. That's I love that story. As soon as you said though, Alfred, I knew you were going to talk about the Mickey phone though. That's like, here's where we're going.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw the building we got to, and I looked up, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good topic for the podcast.
I love that.
Yeah. And back to the ornaments for a quick sec. That is something that we still do kind of every trip. We look for an ornament. And we used to get them. We go to the Christmas shop at downtown Disney, now Disney Springs, and we personalize them. Like we would put the year. A couple times we bought a baby's first Christmas ornament for our 2 daughters, and had those personalized as well to mark the years. And then now we've kind of gotten to the point where we don't necessarily personalize, but we're still picking up an ornament from every trip. So we definitely did that again this year. We had a lot of success with rope drop this year. This trip, we rope dropped all 4 parks on different days and got in, the big rides each day. 7 Dwarfs at Magic Kingdom on our first park day, Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom the next day, Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios, and Remy at Epcot. And that strategy worked out really great for us because that half hour, we may have been standing in line that whole half hour, but we were through the ride while everybody else was starting to filter into the park. So you can definitely knock out more stuff if you get that big ride done right off the bat. And that was the strategy we went with.
That's 100% true. Even though you're in line for that 30 minutes, you're getting the e-ticket out of the way. Everybody else is going to be in that line at 9 o'clock or whatever, while you're done with it. You've moved on to step 2, step 3, and everybody else is at step 1. That's a great point. Because sometimes you think, I'm wasting that 30 minutes. You're not. It feels like you are, but you're not.
Yeah, we waited 30 minutes for 7 Dwarfs, or 35 minutes for 7 Dwarfs instead of 95 minutes for 7 Dwarfs at 11 o'clock.
Yep, 100%.
And we had some friends of ours. One of my best friends from college, he and his wife brought their 2 kids down, and we discovered that we were both going down at the same time about 7 or 8 months ago. And we started planning a little behind the scenes to do things together and stay in the same hotel, and we ended up staying in the same building right around the corner from each other. But we managed to keep it secret from our kids, both sets of kids, until the day we arrived. So our first day, we went to dinner at Sanaa, had a great dinner at Sanaa, had a table right by the window, and had a very curious crane standing by the window the entire time looking at us. And then we got back to our hotel, and rather than going straight to our room, we went to our friend's room, and I just asked my oldest daughter, do me a favor, knock on that door. She knocked on the door, it opened, they saw them and chaos ensued.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
There's something about that, right? When you see somebody like a friend at Walt Disney World, that like amps up the excitement, twofold, threefold. It's so cool because you're cool. It's great to be at Walt Disney World, but man, when you're there with friends, way better. Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, and the fact that we managed to keep it secret and keep it a surprise for both our kids and their kids for 7 months was just a miracle.
Yeah, I can't.
And it made it even that much better when that door opened.
Yeah, see, I can't keep a secret for 10 seconds. You're stronger. You got stronger will than I do. People talk about that all the time on this show. They'll come in on a trip report and say, we picked up the kids from school and then we took them to the airport. I'm like, how do you not tell the kids for 6 months they're going to Walt Disney World? I'd be like, I want to talk to them about it for 6 months. The payoff's worth it, but I don't have the discipline. I could never do it.
Oh, trust me, I came close to letting it slip on multiple occasions. But it's one of those things, rein it back at the last second, or you got to like rephrase the sentence to make it allude to the fact that, hey, you're going to see them at Walt Disney World in 3 months. Not, the next time they go, they're going to do that. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There were several close calls.
Yeah, my wife always kicks me because I always spill the beans about stuff I'm not supposed to say. I remember we were at a staff Christmas party, and I knew that like the PE teacher was dating the counselor at the school, and I was actually, we were kind of dating at the time. I was dating my wife, and she taught next door, and so all I know is like I said something, and I guess nobody else at the school was supposed to know those two were dating. Remember I got kicked in the shins so hard under the table, I almost spit my soda out. It's never stopped ever since. That was like 20 years ago. So I'm the big bean spiller. Anyway, so yeah, more power to you. But give us one more highlight though. So you had a good meal at Sinai. You got to meet with friends. You got to stay at Pop. What else?
We had a great day at Hollywood Studios. We managed to ride every single ride in the park. Between rope dropping and Genie Plus, literally every ride by, I believe it was 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Holy cow,
that's impressive.
We had a nice, Don't ask me how. It'll never be repeated.
No,
it'll be a feat we will never replicate. But we managed to do it every single ride in the park. So we had a nice sit down experience at Baseline Tap House, my first time ever at Baseline, and I'm sitting there with my beer flight in front of me and my charcuterie board. I had to ring the bell, Mike. And
I'll give you the real one too.
All right, now I'm on vacation. This is vacation.
Right.
And that's how we spent our time leading up to when we went to Fantasmic that night, which again, still my favorite show on property and still one of the best shows I've ever seen. I love the way they've made the changes that makes the show flow so much better. Just can't stop saying enough about Fantasmic. We didn't have as great of luck the next day at Epcot, unfortunately. Guardians of the Galaxy broke down while we were waiting in line for it. And we weren't able to actually make it work to get back into the queue. So we did not actually get to ride Guardians this trip, unfortunately. And we got our first ride evac the next day, and we got evacuated off of Thunder Mountain when that broke down while we were on it.
Wow. How far where were you guys? Where were you guys on the ride when you got evacuated? Like on one of the hills?
We were about 30 seconds in. You go by that little town scene where the old man was floating in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And then you have the little tunnel right after that scene.
Yeah.
The train was in that little tunnel when it broke down.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
I would think that's pretty cool, but
luckily we were in the shade, which is nice because the temps were 90 plus the whole week, so at least we were in the shade. But we got evac, which is interesting.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 8.5, and my youngest is 4.5.
And you did all that at the studios with kids that age, man. They're troopers. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow! You've trained them well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it was hot. That's a lot.
It was. We're lucky that my youngest is now finally tall enough she can ride Rise of the Resistance. So she got to do that for the first time, and she thought that was great. And she was able to ride Millennium Falcon. It's her second time riding the Falcon. So she's gotten to the point now where she can actually ride some of the rides. She rode Slinky Dog for the first time. Wasn't as big of a fan of that as she was as Rise of the Resistance. But we're now getting into some of these bigger rides with her because she's now finally tall enough. she's always been one of the, small for her age, but now she's finally at the point where she can ride some of these rides.
Did you let the girls or the kids fly the Millennium Falcon? Do they get to be the pilots?
My youngest actually wanted to be a gunner because he can't quite reach the buttons for the engineer, and I figured the piloting would probably be a disaster.
They're probably right. It's pretty smart.
So we let her be a gunner. I was a pilot, and my friend's 7-year-old daughter was the other pilot.
Nice.
And then he and my daughter were the gunners, and then I think there were the rest of our group split up to a different vehicle. So
nice. That's cool.
Sometimes I don't even want to be the pilot because, like, the last time I rode it was over the podcast cruise. Me and Emily were the pilot and co-pilot, and there was 2 like single rider guys that were like in the back that like just do single rider like constantly, like all day. And they were like trying to give us instructions, and like it just like ruined the experience for me. Though, like I'm just trying to have fun with Emily,
They were like backseat drivers.
But they were backseat drivers telling us like what to do. Like, oh no, you gotta like can we just like enjoy the experience? Like it was like too intense for me. Like where I don't even want to be the pilot anymore now.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It really is.
But yeah, you got Hondo yelling at you. I don't need like a guy in the bridge like yelling at me either. Like
it's like they show, like in the original Star Wars episode 4, right? And you have Luke and like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like like over the hot, Chewie and Han Solo's shoulder in that one shot. Like they give you tips. Like, okay, watch out for that asteroid. Okay, you hang a left here at that.
I see the asteroid. Okay, dude. Like it's just a ride.
Oh my God, that would drive me nuts.
And then at the end, he was like, "Oh, you 2 did pretty good." I'm like, I wouldn't have known by the way you guys were instructing me the whole time that we did good. Like, but anyway,
get out. That's not right. Well, I'm glad you guys survived the heat, and I feel terrible though that you got COVID. I hope you guys bounce back quickly and it doesn't last long. I know that's going around. It's sad that it's back.
We'll be all right. My oldest starts 3rd grade tomorrow, and thankfully, because of the timing of her symptoms, she won't miss her first day. She will get to go. She'll just have to wear a mask. But
I hope she has a good school year. Because my wife's a 4th grade teacher, so I hope it's an awesome school year for her and a great fall for you guys. Hey, appreciate the call. What a great way to hear about a great trip.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good fall. Don't be a stranger. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
All righty, you too. Bye bye.
So William or someone made a comment in here. I can't remember. Oh no, it was Vero Mike. And like I didn't even like think about this when we scheduled those dates, but that's when D23 is, when we're gonna be there doing like our
it'll be the same time because it's the day we're
after. Oh, it's the day we're it's just kind of funny.
The day after, wait. Is it the 8th or the 9th? No. The 9th though is the announcements, right? The Saturday.
I think so. It's just kind of funny. Like there's going to be people for that event, and like I feel like we have a pretty important event happening at the same time too. Raising money for Give Kids the World.
I agree, but you know what? That'll give us. I'm the content guy, right? I'm thinking we'll have something to talk about during the 6-hour show. We can talk about the announcement.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
That'll be good. All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hi, this is Amy from Idaho.
Amy from Idaho. I love it.
Mike, is this the first call we've had from Idaho?
Well, I have a friend, Stephanie, out there that I book with the Magic for Less a lot, but I got to say this, it's obligatory, the home of the blue turf, Idaho.
It is. Yeah. I keep waiting, though, for you to talk about with the sport that we follow most, which is rodeo, and you guys don't talk about it except for one restaurant in Hollywood Studios, so...
Well, hey, I got to say, my nephew is he's a pretty big deal in rodeo, and he rides out west a lot. He always qualifies for the national finals rodeo. So if you ever see Coy Rallman on the circuit, Coy Rallman. So he's a team roper. So if you ever see him,
nice.
He's a healer.
We will watch for sure. We watch a lot of rodeo. My son does bull riding in the junior division.
Oh my God, bull rider. Okay, see, I thought Coy was crazy because he used to steer wrestle. He used to be a bulldogger, but he got smart there and he decided he wanted to keep his health. So now he's just a team roper.
Yeah, decided jumping off of horses going 30 miles an hour was not the best practice.
Yeah, team roping, a little chill. But no, bull riding. Holy smoly, that's giddy up, man. I can't imagine. I can barely go up the steps at this point in my life. So that's amazing.
Yeah, Yeah, it makes it so I can't ever complain about being stiff and sore from sleeping funny because he just looks at me like, really?
I love it.
I
Oh
rode
my
a bull
God.
yesterday. So
That is so awesome. No, I love that. No, well, thanks for calling. So what you mentioned something about the studios. What restaurant we talk about the studios?
at Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. Yeah, it wasn't open the last time we were there, so we're gonna have to check it out this time and see if it, feels like a rodeo.
I know. I haven't been there. You know what? Here's the shocking thing about that. I don't know if Scott's seen this too. I bet you have. Like, I thought it would be near impossible to get an ADR at this restaurant, but every time I look, they're available. Like, I can get them rather easily, and it kind of shocks me.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the price, that they're being priced like a character meal, but it's not a character meal. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I've heard good things about the food.
I have a theory, Mike.
Super hard to get.
Oh, Scott's got a theory.
It's because they got rid of the pens.
That's the pencil, the big pencil.
Yeah, the pencil. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
People are just like, I'm boycotting it now because there's no pencil.
I am kind of fired up about that myself.
So we have a trip coming up in December and January, and we've never been to Hoop-de-Doo. We'll be staying, the first part of our trip, we'll be staying at Boulder Ridge Villas at Wilderness Lodge. And I'm hoping to get a reservation for Hoop-de-Doo, but I was wanting to get some ideas of whether it's worth like spending a whole afternoon at Fort Wilderness or just doing Hoop-de-Doo. Do you guys have any recommendations or thoughts?
I'm going to let Scotty take this one because he just recently did Hoop-de-Doo, and I believe he was won over.
I was won over, so it was my first. It was about a year ago, but yeah, it was awesome. And so, Amy, if you're going to be there in December, and Mike, you might be thinking the same thing. There might be some Christmas light decorations happening on.
Oh,
yeah.
For real? Okay. Are you do you like looking at? In my family, we drive around all the time before Christmas and look at all the houses. Like, we're that family. Do you guys do that kind of stuff?
We do.
Oh man. Okay. Here's one thing you might want to do. You can rent. Well, we've done it with big groups, but you can do it as like just individuals. They have this. The
wagon.
Well, this isn't even that foreign for you. I mean, I'm so stereotyping here. I shouldn't even do this, but I mean, you're a rodeo family. It's a big deal for us from us city slickers, right? They have the horse-drawn carriage thing at Fort Wilderness. Like, it's a big wagon that's pulled by like two horses, and it just takes you around the loops. And and they got blankets in the back. Oh, you don't need them though because it's not cold, but you can.
It could be cold though.
It gets a little chilly.
We did it because it was that marathon weekend that was freezing.
Yeah,
so
it was a little freezing. I mean, but I bet you it gets a lot colder in Idaho. I'm just saying, like they're probably like, it's not bad. It's all relative. I mean, you're from Michigan, so you're right. Okay, so anyway,
I have photos like of Mallory and Emily and all of us like wearing coats.
Yeah, that's right. I know it snowed there during one of the races. Anyway, so the thing is, it's not expensive, and you can ride these wagons that are pulled by horses that go through all the loops to look at all these awesome Christmas displays. And what it is, all these like motorhomes and campsites, they all try to one up each other. It's like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's awesome. So you combine that with Hoop-de-Doo, maybe because it gets dark down there, around December, probably around 5-6 o'clock. So maybe go to the 8 o'clock show or vice versa. Do dinner and a show and a dinner. And
so, Amy, that's exactly what I was getting at. Mike, like when I was confirming that December, he could read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to suggest. So get over there earlier and do like the wagon ride. And like, there's like a cool like picnic area where you can just kind of relax. Like I love like the rocking chairs out there. So you just sit back and you relax, take in the atmosphere, do the wagon ride, see all the lights, and then do Hoop-de-Doo afterwards. I think you have a great 3-4 hours there. I think that'd be a great way to spend your time.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. I will look into that, and I think we'll probably try to do that.
Awesome.
The food at Hoop-de-Doo is so good. Oh, it's excellent.
Yeah.
The dessert was what won me over. But I think at the new like counter service Trails End, you can order that the strawberry shortcake there too, which is an awesome thing. So I would go to Hoop-de-Doo, have my dessert and everything, and then I would go to the counter service and order another one to go for later in the trip. I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure. Take it with you. You're staying at Boulder Ridge too. Oh my gosh, Boulder Ridge during a holiday season, you're totally winning. I mean, Wilderness Lodge, it in December, you cannot beat it.
Amy, so you said December, January. So is this like a New Year's trip?
Yeah, so we're flying down December on Christmas Day, and we'll be off property for a couple days first, and then we'll we're splitting it 3 ways, 3 different DVC resorts because
Nice.
we're kind of crazy that way. And
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
come back January 10th. So
Wow, that's a nice long trip.
Ooh, I like the way you vacation. Man,
So-
so what other?
So we will overlap for sure because marathon weekend is over that time. So I fly down December 30th. So we'll have to say hi to each other for sure.
Over marathon weekend.
You're nice. So you running?
No.
Come
No.
on. Come on.
I said, but no.
So you're doing
Mike, she's having a
boardwalk?
vacation. We don't encourage
know.
it, man.
I know.
Like,
It's
let Amy and her family have a nice vacation. Don't worry about waking up and running.
Boardwalk.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
4 o'clock sleeping in. Whatever. 4 o'clock. You missed the bus. 2:30.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing Boulder Ridge, doing boardwalk. What's your other resort?
Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Oh man.
So
You are
yeah, and it was epic planning. So boardwalk, we went to like shortest stay to longest stay and smallest room to largest room. So we have a studio at Boulder Ridge, a 1-bedroom at Animal Kingdom, and a 2-bedroom at Boardwalk. So
That's
how
how
we
you
did
do
that
it.
on renting points, it's still a miracle that it all worked out, but it did. So I'm excited.
So you have to have like a projector on your wall in Idaho of how many days you have until this amazing vacation. I mean, it needs to be like that thing they have in Las Vegas now on the Strip, that big like dome
Sphere thing,
projector sphere thing.
Yeah,
That's
good,
what
yeah.
you need for your countdown because this trip's gonna be so epic.
Amy, I have a question for you though. So New Year's Eve, where are you going to be?
We will be at Boulder Ridge.
Oh, so
And I haven't decided what we're going to do for fireworks.
Okay. I highly recommend Epcot. It is like the place to be. So that's where we'll be. I already got my theme park reservation. We're ready to roll. That's the only one I'm worried about. I got that Epcot one for January or December 31st. I don't care about the rest.
Yeah. We're not, it just sounds funny because we go during Christmas and New Year's, but we're not big crowd people. So we tend to try to zig when other people zag. So I don't know if we'll do New Year's Eve fireworks or not.
That's one where you just have to zig when people zig. I mean, you just got to bite the bullet on that one.
If you don't like the crowds, if you don't like noise,
shoulder to shoulder with the crowd.
don't do Epcot then, man. Because I mean,
I still say do it, Mike. It's an experience.
Well, like it is an experience, but you got to at least tolerate crowds because they start handing out the noisemakers at about 4 o'clock, and after that, it's just it's just a constant like vuvuzela sound. But I mean, that's what New Year's Eve is all about to me. But I mean, you got to embrace that you're gonna wait 3 hours to get a counter service meal over at Nine Dragons. It's like the whole thing. It's not a normal that you're not writing anything. It's just you're there to go dance and have fun.
And when we're at home, we don't go anywhere on New Year's, so it's not like it's something that is normally a part of our traditions. So if we go to bed early so we can get up and rope drop the next morning when everybody else is sleeping in, my family will be okay with it.
I mean, January 1st is traditionally a very slow day. Like I'm thinking like Magic Kingdom, like it's just empty. So
I didn't think of that. You could be like you own the place on January 1st if you slept in on New Year's. I didn't even think about that because I bet you hardly anybody sleeps in on New Year's Eve at Walt Disney World. You'd be like you'd be standing out there at the gate for rope drop at the Magic Kingdom on January 1st. Like
you'll take that boat from Boulder from Boulder's Lodge and be the only family on there.
I never thought about that. That's a great idea.
That's when my family thinks that I'm the world's best planner is when we have that kind of experience. So
nice.
That's probably what we'll shoot for.
Slide
and I mean, I think it will still be in the studio there, but like still like bring some board games or whatever because that's what my family likes to do when we're at home. But like just make it like a what you would do at home, just have fun with the family. You'll still hear the fireworks from the resort, and then just have a head start on everyone the next day. I like that plan too.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's what we'll do.
Just have to watch the football games until they're over. Then you watch Ryan Seacrest on the TV, and boom, go to bed.
And then when Amy and family is waking up to go to the Magic Kingdom, I'll just be getting off the Skyliner from the previous night.
I know you'll still be in line to get in a bucket.
I'll be doing the walk of shame to my resort at 6 a.m.
Or you'll be like, you'll have decided at the last minute we should drive. and then you'll be still sitting in the parking lot at Epcot like we shouldn't have driven.
Someone knocks on the window, sir, you've been sleeping in this vehicle for the last 4 hours. Like,
I'm like, Scott, quit texting me. I went to bed at 10:30 because we're in the central time zone. We saw the ball drop on the East Coast. We're good. No, it's going to be an epic trip. I can't wait to hear about it. And, I'm not going down for New Year's Eve. I'm going down just for a marathon, but I'll miss all the fun.
Awesome.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to Boise State.
Yeah, hopefully they have a better season this year. It's been a little rough for the last few years. So.
Yeah. We got one of your former players,
good.
our OC at Mizzou, so we're hoping for big things. We got the former quarterback. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, from Boise State?
Yeah. Kellen.
Kellen Moore.
Yep, Kellen Moore. He's our OC. So let's hope we got a little blue turf magic at Mizzou this year. That's right. I know. Hoping for good things. Very cool. Well, hey, thanks for the call and good luck to your son. Right. And hopefully the Bulls will be kicking and he rides for 8 seconds.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good one. Don't be a stranger. Give us a call. All right.
You too. Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Great call.
Dude, I'm loving that trip, and they go down Christmas Day and coming back January 10th.
Dude, that's a long trip. That's fun though. Because we've talked about this many times over 15 years of the show, right? It's like Walt Disney said about Walt Disney World, the blessing of size, but it's the blessing of time. Like you can get there and you can have a night where you play board games because you're going to be there for almost 2 weeks.
And those are some of my favorite nights that I've had too. Like when we just like pop popcorn in the room and like watch a movie in our villa. Like I don't know why, but like I love those nights.
And you taught me how to play that one game,
cribbage,
I think, or cribbage at the villa over at Saratoga Springs.
Yeah. I've taught many people how to play cribbage on a Disney vacation, which is so random.
You totally probably scammed me, but I don't know.
You won. You won.
I did. All right, we have our next caller on the line. Hey, who's joining us? Thanks for calling.
Mike, Scotty G, it's Chris from New Jersey. How you doing?
Doing well. What's up, Chris? Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, not much, guys. I have a quick trip report I can give you. It was a month back, and then I want to pick your brain on the upcoming trip we got going on. I've been dying to get a couple listener questions in. I keep forgetting every week. Definitely need your input, Scotty G. So I'll wait on that one. But I can tell you a quick trip report if you want to do that.
Go for it. I mean, we got about 12 minutes left in the show.
Got time.
Let's rock it on.
Yeah,
Here we go.
I can be quick. So that one, Mike, you helped me book that, but Coronado Springs, I think it was $171 per night. It ended up being. It was just absolutely insane for the rate. And originally, it was just supposed to be a couple of nights to meet my brother, my nephews down there. They were doing a full week in New Smyrna Beach after the fact, but they were going to do a couple of days in Disney. So I said, why not? Spirit flight was, I think, a 114 round trip. So I jumped on that. My wife was not going to come with me. She ended up coming later and meeting us down there on Friday. But anyway, we spent a couple of days in the park. They drove through the night from New Jersey. So they were kind of wiped. I don't know what kind of planning they were doing, but we still had a good time. We ended up going to the big site. We were all staying at Coronado, had a couple of good nights at the pool. And then we actually ended up extending the trip even after that. So I added a night on from the original 2 nights with you, Mike, and then we actually were DVC as well. So we extended again to stay through Sunday nights. We ended up leaving Monday morning. Reason being, we found Keys to the Kingdom tour was available. So that was just a big, we've never done something like that. We did the Wild Safari Trek in Animal Kingdom. That was like the biggest tour we ever did, and we've always been dying to do this. It popped up, it was available, so we extended. Long story short, and I think I told you this, Mike, on an email, we loved it, absolutely awesome. But I think for like big Disney fans like us, I've watched the Imagineering story I don't know how many times by this point. So a lot of the talking points were kind of stuff you've already picked up on. The coolest thing, obviously, and you could have given me a tour, 2 hours in the Utilidors. It could have been 5 hours in the Utilidors and just take us all around different spots. That was amazing. Definitely, the one of the coolest things I've seen, you know, throughout our history at Disney. So
No, I
love that. I know.
I agree with what you're saying about the Keys to the Kingdom and the Imagineering story being. There's a lot of parallels in the discussion. Like, but the first time I did Keys to the Kingdom was at least a decade ago, right? So it was way before Disney Plus. So maybe they need to kind of rethink that and go back and maybe. But I mean, maybe it is. Maybe you're just so in the Disney, you know,
That's
like
the
you're
thing.
so deep into it. They're going to have a hard time probably trying to find something you don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just you just know so much about it. It's going to be really a struggle to even find new knowledge for you.
At one point, I heard like Chris actually put on the plaid like vest and started leading the tour. At one point,
and he's giving the 2-finger point, like, okay, but where are we going next?
yeah. No, don't get me wrong. It was still very cool, and you know, one of the things, you know, they get you going. They're like, we're going to be going backstage. So if you see anybody, they might not be completely in costume, and they prepare you for that. So we're getting all excited thinking we're going to see somebody, you know, and we ended up seeing like some of the backstage, like, you know, operational workers, but nobody big. But it was still very sharp. It was a lot of fun. I don't think it helped that it was like 105 heat index that day, and it started downpouring, of course, right before we went into the Utilidors. So we got drenched, and then we got into the Utilidors and freezing with the air conditioning.
Of course.
But still, we had a great time. They got us on that too. I mean, we were drenched, and then we went straight to the gift shop right after and bought a new outfit to change into, and
nice,
you know, have some fun at the parks on the last day. But you know, all in all, a good trip. We get down there so much. It was good to change it up.
How long is that tour, Chris? Is that like a half a day one, or I can't remember.
It was 5 hours. So they, you know, they do the lunch. We had Pecos Bill, so you get, I want to say it's like a half hour for that lunch break. But yeah, it's a 5-hour tour for the most part, and they were pretty much on time.
Cool.
But yeah, you know, it was a tough day to be doing that. We were kind of, you know, she was trying to duck us in the shade wherever she could. But a hot one, but nonetheless, a lot of fun. Only other new thing we did during that trip, we went to Maya Grill. So as many times as I've been to Coronado Springs, never done Maya Grill, and I'm a huge Mexican fan. And I hear you guys talk about it all the time. Finally got there, loved it. They had the smooth jazz player playing in the background too.
He's awesome.
Very cool experience.
He like runs away though when he sees me and Mike sometimes.
I mean, yeah, totally. He's like, oh God, do another.
Not these guys again. It's like Waldorf and like this is the Muppets guys. They're like, oh no, not you again.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly probably what he says to himself. But we always tip the guy, so he knows at least he's getting a tip for the picture. I mean, come on.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a lot of fans because there was multiple people coming up to him and talking to him.
Oh,
he
yeah.
like knew him. He recognized him. So
I mean, it's like him and like, you know, Carlos Santana or something. I mean, he's epic.
Yeah.
When you look through my Google photos, I have a tag on him as like Maya Grill smooth jazz guy, and like he's like 11th on my list of like most popular photos. I mean, that's how many photos I got of this guy.
He's 11th.
He's not really 11th, but it sounded funny. He's up there though. He's like a top 25.
Smooth jazz Coronado guy.
Yeah, great time there, and we actually stayed in casitas for the first time. The room was first floor, like literally right when you round the corner of Maya Grill. It was like 2 rooms in right there, so it was like perfect location. You know, I am partial to the ranchos just because of the theming and everything, but you know, it was nice to change it up for sure.
I do. I like the casitas quiet pool is especially great in my opinion.
It is a nice quiet pool.
Yeah.
I did laundry over there. That was a good place to be. You know, it was nice if you didn't want to go, you know, venture across the bridge to the big site. But
and there's a second.
I mean, every day that trip, I went in the pool. I mean, it was a must just with how hot it was. But,
and it's great pools there. And there's a second gym over there by the casitas quiet pool if you're looking to hit a treadmill. That used to be the only one before the tower.
Yeah. That place, I mean, I'm obviously I love the skyline and everything, but that resort, even though it's only bus transportation, I mean, it's the most centrally located. I mean, each bus trip really isn't that far from each park.
Agreed.
I really can't complain. It's such a good value.
You look on a map, so it's like right at like World and Buena Vista Drive, like the two biggest roads intersect right where that resort is. So it's like smack in the center of the resort, basically. So you're right. I mean, it's Mike and I talked about this a while ago. Like it's like an Animal Kingdom resort, and people are like always like, "Oh, it must be out in the middle of nowhere." It's not. It's right in the center of the property. It's perfect.
Yeah, you get thrown off by that, and we pulled it up on our Google Maps, and we're like, "Wait, which are we closest to?" And it's literally like such a small difference between each park. So, again, for the value you get there, it is like a deluxe flight. And yes, you don't have an alternative form of transportation, but again, it's just such a quick trip to each park. So, love it. And definitely looking forward to staying there again when I'm not doing DVC. But anyway, that was that. That was all the highlights we had from that. I mean, like I said, the kids drove through the night, and the first day in the parks was kind of a waste. We went on a couple of rides, and then they were done. You could just see the look in their face. They were toast. And then we did, probably another half day in the park the next day, and just went back to the pool. So, quick, easy trip there. But this next one, I definitely want to pick your brain on. We're going. I want to say it's probably like 58 days now, but we're going in October, end of October. We're doing Halloween Horror Nights. We're not doing, any of the Disney parties, but we did that last year. We're just changing it up a little bit here. But we're using DVC points. It was a little hairy getting rooms there. So we've got 2 nights at the Riv in a studio, 2 nights at Saratoga Springs in the studio. And then Mike, I reached out to, I think we're going to do Port Orleans just so we're like somewhere, because Friday night has no DVC availability. I think maybe they had a 2-bedroom, but for just me and my wife, it just doesn't make sense, obviously.
Right.
It's just kind of a waste of points. So we're going to probably aim for Port Orleans just because close to, Saratoga, we can pop right over there. And then Saturday, we were going back to Saratoga again, just because if we're going to be at Port Orleans, it's kind of right there. But the other room that's available, and it's a 1-bedroom suite, so we're upgrading either way. That's all that's left. Is at Wilderness Lodge. And I'm not sure which one it is, Copper Creek or the other one, but we've never stayed there. So I think we're gonna change it up. My wife's like, why not? Let's check it out. But I want to know from you guys, are those rooms like all redone, like as far as like the flooring and all that stuff, or are they still in need of refurb?
That's a great question, because I've stayed in, not to knock it, but I've stayed in one of those 1-bedrooms, and it was actually my least favorite 1-bedroom. But because I was older, it needed a refurb, right? That was like the thing for me.
Okay.
And I wish our friend Wade was on the call, because like he goes there all the time.
Wade's in the wilderness, because we just saw his cabin about an hour ago, in Pennsylvania somewhere at a retreat.
Yeah.
So I doubt he's calling.
He's actually in the wilderness, not the Wilderness Lodge. Right?
No, he's in the wilderness in Pennsylvania at a retreat.
I'm behind on text messages, so I have not seen that one yet.
No, I have. He sent video of his cabin. It's pretty sweet, but there's no TV. So the 1-bedroom you were kind of not fond of. Which resort were you talking about, Scott?
I think it was Boulder Ridge.
Boulder Ridge.
I'll have to like look back at it.
One is available. It's one or the other that's available. But so when I did the drop down on the room details, it gives you that picture pops up. It had the updated flooring, but I've also seen where like they've done kind of half the resort and not the other half, and they update the picture, but you end up with one of the older rooms. So I'm like kind of in between there. I mean, it is only for the one night. It's a different experience. It's close to Magic Kingdom and everything. It would be a change up, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. Well, I guess we'll just have to.
And it's a good room. I mean, it's a good room. And have you stayed at a 1-bedroom for any of the other resorts?
Yeah. We stayed at 1-bedrooms in other places, so
so it's gonna have like your similar layout, right? Where you kind of have the dining area and like your full fridge and everything. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be nice. I just remember when I stayed, it was in 2020. It was a little outdated, but again, I think they have been working on refurbing. They needed it badly. They needed it badly when I stayed there last. But I think I mean, it's a great resort. If you haven't stayed there before, I say still go for it, right? You're going to have a great time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was 3 points more than Saratoga Springs, and we've been to Saratoga Springs several times now. Like, love the rooms there and everything.
I love that one bedroom. That's like one of my favorites. I love that Saratoga one bedroom.
Oh yeah, beautiful. So anyway, I wanted to pick your brain on that. The other thing is our annual pass. So we've got the highest level, and I'm blanking on whatever it's called, but we've got the highest level right now. We are up for renewal, of course, like I think it's October 25th. Our trip starts October 23rd. So I was able to make 2 days of park reservations, obviously. And now, that we don't have it renewed past that point, we can't make the additional. So I'm kind of in a pickle. And I've also been considering the step down, right? Because now you have the DVC annual pass available to you. And I know there's the blockout dates, but I don't think this year we're considering any of those dates. I think next year we want to try and do New Year's. So like maybe I don't know. I'm considering doing the lower tier because I think it's like a $500 difference. And I don't know, Scott, do you do the lower one or do you do like the max?
Yeah, so I do. I call it the gold pass, but I know it's changed names, right? Because I think the one you have right now is the Incredipass Pass or something, right? Yeah. So I might be like the Sorcerer Pass. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I do the DVC one. I've been doing.
Yeah, you're right. So I haven't had the Sorcerer Pass and step down.
Yeah, so I do the DVC one, and I'm a big fan of it because like the blackout dates aren't that bad. Like it's it's like Christmas time, maybe like the week of New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving. And I just don't really travel around there that much. And like I do like New Year's Eve, and I'm going there this year, right? So like sometimes like I'll even break down and I'll buy the day pass. Or what I've done in other years is I've actually upgraded to the pass. Like so like I got the Sorcerer Pass. And then, in April, and then I realized, oh, dang, I do want to go down for like Christmas or Thanksgiving. Then you can just upgrade to the new one. Like, and that's easy, right? So, like, I would say just stick with the Sorcerer Pass. And then if you decide you want to do it, then just upgrade the pass.
That's a good idea.
Got it. So, with our expiration being like end of October, do you think we're safe like next year if I go and renew and just upgrade that pass to secure like the New Year's park reservation? Or do you think like does that start to? I haven't looked at the crowd calendar. I'm not sure if that starts to book up already.
I mean, so you're saying if you do the bigger pass without the blockouts, will like the New Year's park reservations fill up? Is that what you were asking?
Well, like next year when I go to upgrade, because we're not going to go to New Year's this year. Like I'm probably going to do Sorcerer Pass. But next year, the following
October 2024, your renewal comes. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, who knows if park reservations even be a thing for annual pass?
I mean, if I was a betting man, right? If I was a betting man and I'm not, I would say that all park reservations will be gone for everybody by then.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, but
I might just have to bite the bullet a little earlier.
But being that like some pass holders are blocked out, right? Like Florida resident, the DVC ones are blocked out, so like. That might open up more pass holder reservations in general too for that week as well. So like, I can't stay like, oh yeah, you're for sure good on that. But I would say like you are in a pretty good spot to wait for that renewal to make those.
Got it. All right. Well, that's what we're looking forward to. Like I said, I mean, we're taking a trip down to Asheville in the beginning of that week, and then October 23rd, I believe, is the first day we get there. We stay all the way through that Sunday, and then we're going home. So we'll have a nice mix of resorts. I mean, Riviera's our home resort. Love that resort. And then Saratoga. We'll try Wilderness.
You're gonna run into some runners out there. I said run into some runners because I believe you're gonna overlap some wine and dine weekend too while you're there.
I think
possibly.
So. When's wine and dine?
I think it's like November 2nd, so I don't know how long your stay is, but like someone will be showing up though probably while you're leaving. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. We'll be leaving that Sunday, so we'll probably get some people starting to show up there. But looking forward to it. But thank you guys for providing some feedback and enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, we
real quick though. You've done trip reports with Mike, right? Your voice just sounds so familiar. I feel like I've heard you do like some trip reports before, right?
Yeah. I did a couple of scheduled ones, and then I always offer Mike to fill in, if he's ever got.
Yep.
No, I like them, man. Like they're good.
People don't know this, but Chris is a pinch hitter because he has I have his email address starred in my Gmail inbox, and when I get a cancellation, I go to Chris.
Because he normally has a trip ready to talk about, which is good.
I feel bad taking up a spot because I've done it so many times, I go so often, but in a pinch, I'm always happy to.
Yeah, because I appreciate you coming in, like, because you'll come in like on a, we record on Wednesdays, and I'll shoot you an email like on a Tuesday night late or a Wednesday morning, like, oh my gosh, somebody just said their kid's sick, they can't make it, or church has an event, they got a bake sale, they didn't remember.
And then Chris is like, I'm BBC, of course I got a trip I can talk about.
Yeah. always a pleasure, and I'm always happy to take an extra trip if
yeah, we're forcing you. We need content, Chris. Go down, stay in a 2-bedroom at Old Key West for me for a week, and let me know how it is.
I mean, geez, Mike, I'd do that too for you. I'm just saying.
Man, hey, I'm done because of you. So, hey, no, Chris, we appreciate it, buddy, and have a great trip. If we don't talk, we'll talk before that, I'm sure. But great questions and great trip report. And Keys to the Kingdom, good value tour, by the way. If anybody's never done it, not extremely expensive, especially if you catch an AP or a DVC discount. It's pretty affordable.
Yeah, not bad at all, actually. But forgot to mention, I forget what I think the original rate was $115, and then with the AP discount, I don't know what they gave you off, but it was definitely a good number for us.
I mean, that's less than a hard ticket event. So
yeah, seriously.
And you get lunch and a little souvenir with it, I believe. Well, at least you used to. I don't know. Did you still get a little?
Yeah,
thing?
they gave you the little pin. Yeah. A little key.
Yep.
So you guys shout out on Not So Scary or the Christmas party. There you go. There's another option.
East Kingdom.
Not a bad fallback for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, thanks for the great call, and you have a good week, and good talking to you, bud.
You too, guys. Have a good one.
All right. See you later.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
As usual, great calls tonight, Mike.
Calls carry the show. That's what I always say.
I mean, that's why it's the call-in show.
That's exactly it. It's always the most fun one because, man, you open up the phone lines and just kind of sit back.
That's what I think. Like that's why I jokingly say, but it's serious. Like I love the listener question show because like you just never know what you're going to get sometimes. You never know what you're going to get with the phone calls.
Wednesdays are fun because it's all listener questions, right? I mean, people drop stuff live in the chat. I mean, in real time. That's fun. We get inbox questions, which are great because people think about and drop them into us. That's great. But I mean, these we literally hit the button, boop, and you do not know what you're gonna get.
It's awesome. And then Monday, I love listening to Monday's trip reports. Like I recognize Chris just from his own show, his own calls with you. Like I just love hearing people's trips. And then Friday, the topic show, man, it's just entertainment. It's entertainment.
And we got to thank our listeners because we're not trying to toot our own horn, but we've been doing really well on Apple Podcasts. I mean, we're like up against people that have shows like on A&E networks and all these podcasts and travel and in the Apple Podcast store that I know they have $1 million budgets, and we're doing this show out of a basement in St. Peters, Missouri, and you're in your house up in Michigan. Yeah. Ricky's and her on a couch and
I know she's got the Luigi tire in the background. I
don't even think it's from Disneyland. I think it's at a closeout store, like a Disney store somewhere where she got it. Pam's in her, the great offices up in Pittsburgh, but
sometimes she's from live on the scene too at Walt Disney World. You never know where Pam is sometimes.
But we're not like, in the A&E studios or CNN, but we're hanging with the big dogs. And it's only because you take the time to download the shows, share the show with everybody. And it means so very much because we get to do the show. I'm still blown away. I showed that to my wife the other day. I was like, look at this. Like,
I love it when you share that. You shared one this weekend. It was awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's just because you guys are so kind to us. So thank you so very much. And the ratings reviews are what drive this. If you wouldn't mind this week, if you haven't done that in a while, just while you're there, Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating review. We'd really, really appreciate that because we really work hard for the shows and that would mean a lot to us. All right. So we're going to jump out of here. Great shows coming to you this week. We have a fun trip report. Speaking of trip reports, we have Leslie joining us from Arkansas on Monday. COVID delayed trip. Then she blew out her ACL, but she went down with some girlfriends. And they ran the Princess Half Marathon. We talk a little bit about that, but even if you're not a runner, I know you're like, oh God, not a runner trip. They did all kinds of stuff. They went all over Walt Disney World, all 4 parks. They were there for a week. We had a great time just talking about what a girls trip to Walt Disney World is like. They celebrated kind of hitting the big 4-0 while they were down there. So it was a wild trip report. So it's a lot of fun. Wednesday, listener questions. Friday, of course, we'll have a topical show. Scotty G joins me this week. I think Pam's still out because she's recovering from her Adventures by Disney stuff out in Southern California. Ricky went on a cruise. I don't know if she's going to be back. I got to text her. We'll see. Think she's back? Think she's recovered?
I think Ricky would like to talk about, take some listener questions. So we'll see. But I'll be here just in case, though.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. All right, so we are going to jump out. Give Scott a follow on the socials at Epscott, EPSCOTM at BRGuestMike. We love talking to you, especially over on Twitter. So give us a shout out over there. Instagram as well, Threads. And again, I'm always hanging out over at the Magic for Less. I'd love to help you plan that next Disneyland trip. We can do that now for 2024. You need a place to stay. You need those tickets, everything for race weekend in January, anytime in 2024. I'd love to help you with Disneyland, also Walt Disney World. I'd love to give you a great big onboard credit for Disney Cruise Line on the next cruise. I just want to help you get a great price on an amazing Disney vacation. To swing by themagicforless.com. Also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thanks to our patrons who make all these shows possible. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. You get a bonus show for just $5 a month for all these podcasts. The bonus show is called Mike in the Midwest. All right, we're going to jump out of here. We'll be back again I'll be here next Sunday night. Scotty G is going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio.
It's the BOGP in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You know that reference, right?
Yes. What was the quote? As God is my witness, I thought
turkeys could fly.
That's so funny. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I'll have to go visit Dr. Johnny Fever. I know, like the actor, he passed away a couple of years ago, I think. But yeah.
Harold.
Yeah. We gave him tribute on the show because, like, thanks to his. I mean, that's what we feel like, right? Like we're DJs in here.
Dude, I got the big mic here. I need to spin some tunes, like some 33s or something. Anyway,
there we go.
So I'll be here. Maybe we'll even call Scott or something on the phone. You know, the phone works both ways. I can call out.
You called me while I was on Big Thunder Mountain one time.
I did. I'm just saying, if we get desperate enough, I just start calling. I don't know if you do that in radio, but I just start calling people. People don't call me. I call people. So anyway, we're gonna have a good time next Saturday, and then of course, don't forget one more time, September 8th and 9th, BOGP Cares down at Give Kids the World. Save some money to donate for the families that need it the most. We're going to be on the air on that Saturday, September the 9th. That's during D23. We just figured out. So we'll have plenty to talk about, all the announcements, noon to 6 on that Saturday. And on that Friday, a bunch of us are volunteering over at the Village from 7:30 to 10:30. We'll be flipping pancakes and doing attractions and all kinds of stuff around the Village. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. Yes. And then we're going to Epcot afterwards. And eating.
Pickle shake.
Wow.
Pickle shake.
I'm not doing a pickle shake, dude. Too much other good stuff. I'm not wasting space with a pickle shake. I want to go to the Hawaii slider booth.
I want to go Hawaii too. Yeah, I want the slider. I love the sliders. The sliders are so good.
Actually, there's a spam thing I want to try. There's all kinds of stuff there I want to give a shot to.
We're gonna eat all the food. We're gonna share it up. We're gonna blow it up on Instagram. Right? We're gonna make a hashtag. Mike and Scott eat around the world or something.
We're doing right after we leave. Yep, totally. All right, we're gonna jump out of here. We'll have a good week on the show. Hope you join us. Thanks for being a part of all this. For Scott, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Sunday night or Thursday here on the feed. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All righty, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, good episode.
That was fun. All right. Well,
I think there's a meatloaf downstairs. Like, I've hardly ate today, so I'm hungry. I played 36 holes of golf. I'm ready to take it down.
I love meatloaf.
Yeah.
I saw that. Speaking of meatloaf, the Plaza's got a new menu that looks really good.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, Liz makes a killer meatloaf. And like the sauce she uses is what she used for sloppy joes too. And we're getting close to that. I mean, that's like a Michigan State football food for me, the tailgating food.
Almost chilly weather. I know. It's close. I can't wait. All right, we'll go have some meatloaf. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Good. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya. All right. Bye-bye.